Good evening and welcome to the channel's studios here in London with your international news around the world in 5. Israeli troops have invaded Lebanon in what the Israeli military calls a limited, localized and targeted ground operation against Hezbollah. The ground incursion of thousands of Israeli troops and tanks is taking place despite urgent calls from its main ally, the US, not to do so. Bombings continue in the country as forces move in on the ground. The Lebanese health ministry say more than 1,000 people have been killed across the country in the past 2 weeks due to Israeli airstrikes, and up to 1 million may now be displaced.
These localized ground raids will target Hezbollah strongholds that threaten Israeli towns, kibbutzim, and communities along our border. Hezbollah turned Lebanese villages next to Israeli villages into military bases, all ready for an attack on Israel.
Local residents in Hodeidah in Yemen have also witnessed intense bombings. Eyewitness footage capturing the scale and force of the explosions. According to Yemeni authorities, Israel launched a series of airstrikes on Hodeidah port and Rasisa port in Hodeidah province and 2 power stations on Sunday evening. The health authorities said the attacks resulted in at least 5 deaths and 57 injuries. Meanwhile, at least 13 Palestinians have been killed in Nuseirat camp in Gaza following an Israeli airstrike. The bodies were taken to Al-Aqsa Martyrs Hospital in Deir al-Balah. Some Palestinians said they feared that Israel's shift in focus to Lebanon could prolong the conflict in Gaza, which marks its first anniversary next week. Palestinian medics added that another strike on a school sheltering displaced Palestinian families in the Taffa neighborhood killed at least 7 people. A bus carrying dozens of primary school children has crashed and caught fire just outside the Thai capital of Bangkok. 16 children and 3 teachers are reported to have escaped, but 22 pupils and 3 teachers are still unaccounted for, according to the country's transport minister. Thailand's Prime Minister said the accident resulted in deaths and injuries, but the exact number of fatalities has not yet been confirmed. A health ministry official said 8 of the 19 people who managed to escape were sent to hospital for treatment. NATO's new chief, Mark Rutte, has voiced strong support for Ukraine as he took over from Jens Stoltenberg as NATO Secretary General. The former Netherlands Prime Minister was given a standing ovation as the outgoing Secretary-General offered him his seat. NATO officials and diplomats expect Rutte to maintain Stoltenberg's priorities, rallying support for Ukraine, pushing NATO countries to spend more on defence, and keeping the US engaged in European security. He takes over just weeks before the US presidential vote, with Republican Donald Trump well known to be critical of NATO. Kenya's Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua has been threatened with impeachment proceedings by lawmakers amid intense speculation that he has had a major fallout with President William Ruto. The president's allies in Parliament have accused Gachagua of undermining the government, promoting ethnically divisive politics, having a role in fueling the deadly protests that rocked the country in June, and of being involved in corruption. The power struggle has led to concerns of instability at the heart of government at a time when Kenya is in the throes of a deep economic and financial crisis. Tens of thousands of dock workers have gone on strike indefinitely at ports across much of the US. The walkouts are threatening significant trade and economic disruption ahead of the presidential election and the busy holiday shopping season. Members of the International Longshoremen's Association walked out on Tuesday at 14 major ports along the east and Gulf coasts, halting container traffic from Maine to Texas. The action marks the first such shutdown in almost 50 years. And the former Liverpool football coach Jürgen Klopp has been awarded the German Order of Merit.
Aus Mainz, Rheinland-Pfalz.
German President Frank-Walter Steinmeier presented the football coach with the award. The Order of Merit of the Federal Republic of Germany is the only federal decoration of Germany. It is awarded for special achievements in political, economic, cultural, intellectual or honorary fields. 28 people were given the award in total. And that's your international news around the world in 5. Now back to the channel's studios in Lagos.